She didn't leave you because you were boring. She didn't leave you because your car wasn't new, or because your texts got shorter, or because you forgot the name of her favorite candle that one night in late October. She left because something inside her was already packing before she even met you, and that was never your fault. But here's the truth no one tells you. After the breakup, you weren't rejected. You were just caught in the crossfire of a woman at war with her own heart. You were her calm, her soft place, and sometimes that's exactly what terrifies people who are used to chaos. Oh, and before we continue, I've got something special for you, a free ebook, The Female Mind Control Handbook. It reveals the hidden secrets to making any woman crave you. Grab it now, link in the description or pinned comment. I used to ask myself, what did I miss? I replayed every conversation, every dinner, every smile that suddenly meant less the second she started pulling away. I blamed myself. That's what we do, right? We assume our worth is directly tied to how long someone stays, as if her leaving was the result of some invisible flaw we forgot to fix in time. But over time, and through a lot of silence, I learned something. Her leaving had nothing to do with my lack, and everything to do with what she couldn't give. Bittersweet chuckle. She once told me I made her feel safe. I thought that was a compliment. It felt warm, but I missed the second part, the unspoken part, because for some people, safety doesn't feel like home. It feels like a trap. She was used to sharp edges, to tension, to loud love that left bruises and apologies. So when I showed up with stillness, she didn't know where to put it. She thought love had to burn, that anything less wasn't real. So she ran. Not because I hurt her, but because I didn't. Because when someone's only ever experienced storms, clear skies feel suspicious. That's what you don't see. When she walks out of your life, you think, if I was more this, less that, maybe she would have stayed. But here's what Stoicism teaches us: you are not responsible for the emotional debts someone else carries. You are not the redeemer of her past. You are not the therapist for the pain she never speaks of. You are not the punishment for what some other man did years ago. You were simply the mirror, and she couldn't handle the reflection. You showed her peace when she still needed noise. You gave her softness when her armor was still duct taped together with suspicion. You gave her presence, real, unwavering presence, and that scared her more than absence ever could, because presence comes with accountability. It says, I see you, all of you. And when a woman isn't ready to be seen, she runs meaningful silence. And when she runs, she doesn't tell you the truth. She says, it's not working, or I just need time, or my personal favorite, you deserve better. As if she's doing you a favor by breaking your heart with politeness. But what she's really saying, what she can't say, is this: I don't know how to receive the love I've always begged for. And it's easier to leave than to learn how. So you sit there alone, staring at a blank screen, trying to compose a message you'll never send, and somewhere deep down you still believe this was your fault. But it wasn't. You were solid, kind, curious, present. You weren't perfect, God no, but you were real. And she didn't leave because of your realness. She left because she wasn't ready to meet you at that depth. That's the part most men never heal from, because we think love is about worth, and when someone leaves, we assume it means we weren't worth staying for. But brother, her leaving says nothing about your worth, only about her readiness. I remember walking through a bookstore weeks after she left, passing titles I knew she loved, smelling pages that still reminded me of her perfume, and I caught myself smiling, not because I wasn't hurting I was, but because for the first time I understood something I didn't before she left. Because she had to, not for someone else, not for something better, but because you can't live in a home that feels too quiet when you're used to screaming. And I was too quiet, too steady, too sure of her. You ever been sure of someone who was unsure of themselves? It's exhausting. It's like trying to love a ghost. You can touch her, but she's always halfway through the door. That's what Stoicism helps you do: love without losing your center, offer without begging, stand still even when she's spinning. Because a Stoic man doesn't chase someone who needs to flee. He watches, he accepts, and then he returns to himself. Not bitter, not broken, but clear. You see, love doesn't always end with a villain. Sometimes it just ends with two people walking at different speeds through the same fire. She left because her soul was still searching for something to fight, and you stopped fighting because you knew love doesn't need to be war. It can be gentle. It can be two people sitting in silence, completely safe, without the need to fill it an or wire. But she wasn't there yet, and maybe she never will be. That's okay, because the woman who's meant to stay, she won't be afraid of your stillness. She'll crave it. She won't confuse your peace for boredom. She'll see it as a rare kind of power. She won't run from your eyes when they see too much. She'll lean into them, knowing she's finally home. So if she left, let her Let her walk, let her choose chaos if she must, but don't follow low tone, because you are not meant to become a storm. Just to make her feel familiar, you are not required to shrink just to keep her close, and most of all, you are not here to bleed every time someone can't handle how deeply you feel. Her leaving wasn't your failure, it was her fear, and you did the most courageous thing a man can do. You stayed soft in a world that begged you to become hard emotional silence. So now let yourself mourn, let yourself remember, let yourself feel every ache of her name on your tongue one last time. But after that, close the chapter, not with resentment, but with understanding, because this was never your fault, and one day you'll meet someone who isn't terrified of peace, someone who sees your presence not as pressure but as protection, someone who says, I've known chaos, I've danced with it, but with you I finally feel quiet. And when that happens, you'll understand why the others had to leave. They weren't wrong, they just weren't ready. So stay soft, stay still, stay grounded, not for them, for you. Because real love doesn't need chasing.